Hey everyone. So yesterday was my dad's birthday. He would have been 54 yesterday. Um, when he passed away, he was 45, a month before he turned 46. So obviously, a lot of emotions yesterday. Although personally, I would rather celebrate my dad's birthday than acknowledge the anniversary of his death or celebrate his death. Uh, it's just a much happier time, obviously. We get to have cake, and we were watching movies, and yesterday we were gardening, and we got to do all these wonderful things. Normally, once his anniversary, I have to remember that I had walked out on my dad a week and a half prior, that the next day was my confirmation, and I gave up on God entirely for a period of my life during that time. It was just a lot of things that I don't enjoy, obviously, about acknowledging his anniversary. It's just not a fun time. But birthdays are a different story. So, yesterday was obviously just this wonderful time that I got to spend with my family. But as I've been experiencing recently, my depression's been coming back, unfortunately, which is one of the reasons why I've been having a little harder time making videos. Because, and we're going to get super personal in this video, well, relatively. I suffered through a really nasty bout of depression. I guess you could say that I was experiencing waves of depression throughout middle school and into high school and even into college. However, the worst time in my life was when I was 15, where I absolutely felt like I hit rock bottom and there was no coming out of it. And since then, obviously, there have been horrible things that have happened to me since then. There have been horrible things that have happened to my friends and my family since then. But 15 was pretty significant. And it's one of those things that after my senior year of high school and even after my freshman and sophomore year of college, after bad things happened, I looked back and I said, you know what? I'd rather relive all of those together than ever set foot in one day of my sophomore year of high school. It was just not fun. But, I mean, I was just kind of gritting my teeth through it. I didn't want to show my family that I was depressed. My mother knew that my anxiety was very high, and I've been dealing with anxiety my whole life. But it was one of those things that I felt like it was really unfair for me to burden my family with my depression and my anxiety. I didn't want them to know how upset I was. I didn't want them to know that their daughter, granddaughter, niece, sister didn't want to be there anymore. I thought my decision, or at least my thoughts about not being around anymore were very selfish because I had just lost my dad, and it'd be one of those things that if I left too, by my own choice, my family would be torn apart that much more than they already were, and then they'd blame themselves because they never saw it. And there'd be this whole blame game. And so there was this constant inner battle going on within me because I wanted so desperately to show the world how depressed I was. I wanted so desperately for people to know how angry I was and how upset I was and how badly I didn't want to be there and how worthless I felt. And I just wanted anybody to listen to me and hear what I had to say. And so I was going through that while not wanting to share any of it because I felt like my dad's death was kind of overwhelming any emotions I was ever allowed to have. I wasn't allowed to be upset. I wasn't allowed to be depressed because I already lost him. So what gives me the right to then take my own life, or to be depressed about it, or to be depressed with school, or to have anxiety attacks constantly to the point that I'm blacking out, or to want to cut, or to make myself sick, or anything like that? I thought it was very, very selfish, and there was this constant inner battle all throughout high school, and sometimes even into college. But then once I hit college, I was then facing the issues of some of my friends and witnessing that, and I said, well, who am I to say that I want to cut and relapse if my friend's off doing X, Y, and Z, and it seems like their situation's 100 times worse than mine? And it was just this constant inner battle, and the voice in my head was just screaming all the time, and I just couldn't seem to find this like right answer, and it was very irritating, and I didn't know what to do. And over the last couple weeks and last couple months, the depression's been kind of like cycling itself back, especially when I'm having nights where, I'm stuck at home. If all I have is just work and nothing else right now, because I am trying to save up money to be able to finish college, and nobody's around, and, all of my friends are out of town, or they're always working on the days that I'm not, and our schedules are all jacked up, and everyone's got personal issues, or I've got people that have decided to not talk to me anymore, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with this, like, new empty space in my life. It gets really depressing kind of like at 1 o'clock in the morning, because the people that I want to talk to are in another state at my school, or they're not talking to me, or they're busy, or they've got this situation. I understand, I've been there too, where people are trying to get a hold of me, and I'm busy as well. And there's just been this constant, overwhelming, just back and forth. And I haven't really figured out how to get a grip on it. And I really wasn't wanting to. I just really didn't know what to do anymore. I didn't know where I wanted to be. I didn't know what I wanted. I've, spent the last couple nights getting my insomnia back. It's not been fun, because suddenly this wave is coming back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to get out of this funk. I just want to be done with this. I don't want to live this life. I don't want to be depressed, because I'm a very relatively cheery person, and I did that part of my life before. I don't need to go back to that again. And I guess after last night, that was kind of when I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to get that second tattoo. Now, I have my anchor tattoo, which I will do a video shortly about. But I decided to walk into a tattoo parlor today, and I got my second tattoo. And suddenly getting to see it realized, and getting to see everything that I've been thinking about for the last couple of years imprinted on me, and knowing what it means, and it's this command to do better and to move forward. It's just this wonderful, wonderful feeling. And I mean, not everybody needs a tattoo to obviously move forward. It's helping me definitely, because over the last couple months and last couple weeks, especially with these cycles kind of coming back, I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it right now. It's just so beautiful and so perfect. I love it. It's that nice little reminder that I needed, especially right now, that it's like, you know what? That time in your life was over. You suffered, and you're moving forward. And it sucks, but you've got an amazing story of survival that's come out of it. And you know what? You may be depressed now. You may be depressed in a year, but you've overcome it once, and you can go overcome it again. And you're not going to have to sit in this funk forever. And it's just kind of this really, really wonderful feeling, because, we are entitled to be depressed. We are entitled to be upset, and we are entitled to be angry and be frustrated. But as much as we're entitled to these things, we also need to remember that there's so much beauty in this world, and we should try and move forward. We shouldn't try and sit around and be depressed. That's something that I need to remember for myself right now, is that as angry as I am with the certain situations going on, or as depressed as certain things make me, you know what? I need to choose to move forward, even if, other parties aren't, or this situation cannot change. I need to be the one that moves forward, and I need to take steps to move on with my life. I can't just be sitting here and always sit in my depression, because if I do, then I'm never doing anything with my life. And I need to start reminding myself, and which is what this wonderful tattoo is doing for me right now, that I have that choice. I can choose to be upset one night, and I can have a bad night, and that's fine. But I'm also going to choose in the morning to wake up and try and move forward and do what I can. Because life shouldn't be about just getting like put down all the time and having to just be angry. And sometimes we do have to make it just day to day, but I want to make it each week and each month and each year and each decade. Like, that's how I want to live my life. I don't want it to be this suddenly every 2-second minute. Can I survive these next 5 minutes? Can I survive this class? Can I survive this hour? Because that's how I used to live my life, and that's not how I want it to be anymore. I want to move forward. I want to live a prosperous life. My dad, we were gardening yesterday, and my dad told me a couple years ago, obviously, almost a decade ago, we were out in the garden, and he just happened to mention to me, he was like, he goes, never plant anything in your garden that you don't know everything about. Be proud of what you've made, all the hard work that you've done, so everyone can see it. And no matter what my story is, no matter how crappy things have gotten, that's still my story, and I'm going to be proud of the one that's written. No matter what mistakes I've made, I'm going to be proud that I've lived to tell the tale, and I've gotten lessons from it, and I can encourage others, and I can move forward, and I'm proud of what it is I've been able to accomplish and overcome. So yeah, that's my little dose of encouragement. So happy birthday, Daddy. We miss you, and thank you for everything that you've ever done for me and all the wisdom that you still give me even when you're not here. So I hope all the rest of you guys had an amazing day.